Right now, somewhere in a corporate boardroom, there is a CEO just watching millions of dollars completely burn.
Oh, absolutely. Just setting money on fire.
Right. I mean, they bought the absolute best enterprise software. They made this huge company-wide announcement. They flipped the switch. And
Now, 6 months later, it's a ghost town.
exactly. Nothing is working.
Yeah.
And we're not just making this up. According to a recent MIT report, 95% of enterprise AI pilots are currently failing.
Hey,
95.
it's staggering. And you have to realize the tech didn't break. The AI models did, exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
But S&P Global found that 42% of companies just completely abandoned their AI projects by the end of 2024. They just walked away.
Which is just, I mean, it's a massive, incredibly expensive disconnect.
Yeah, billions of dollars are pouring into this space, and almost half of the organizations trying to use it are just throwing their hands up in sheer frustration.
Right. Which brings us to exactly what we are unpacking in today's deep dive.
Huh?
We are looking at a really fascinating new book. It's titled Leading with AI: 7 Steps to Transform Your Business and Empower Your People.
Such a crucial read right now.
For sure. It's written by Garrett Jackson. He's a strategist at WME who previously worked at VaynerMedia, and Mitch Jackson, who is an award-winning trial lawyer with like 4 decades of experience.
And that combination of backgrounds is exactly what makes their perspective so sharp here.
Yeah, you wouldn't normally pair those two up, right?
Exactly. You have this cutting-edge digital strategy merging with decades of really high-stakes human conflict resolution, and their core thesis is something I think every leader needs to hear right now.
Which is that AI adoption has officially crossed the tipping point.
Right. It's no longer this emerging innovation that you can just play with in a sandbox on the weekend. It is everyday infrastructure.
And because it's infrastructure, the mission of this deep dive is really to explore why Garrett and Mitch wrote this book.
Yeah, they want to solve that massive failure rate.
Exactly. Because those failures aren't tech problems. They are leadership failures. They are culture failures. It's a change management failure.
100%.
So we're going to guide you through their unique 7-step leadership approach to actually scaling AI responsibly. Because the goal isn't just to say you use AI, it's to use it to amplify human value.
And to do that, well, you really have to start by looking at the environment you're operating in right now. The authors describe it perfectly in Chapter 1. They call it "the ground is moving."
Oh, that's such a good way to put it.
Right. It captures that lingering, almost unsettling feeling that so many professionals have right now. Because AI capabilities aren't just improving, they are literally doubling every 3.5 months.
Which is genuinely dizzying. I mean,
Yeah.
the authors point out that we all kind of have this illusion of security built into our careers.
Oh, totally. The old deal.
Yeah, the old deal. You learn a hard skill, you practice it for 10 years, and you're safe. You built a moat around your career. But suddenly, AI is just absorbing these tasks that used to take years to master.
Yeah, drafting complex legal contracts, analyzing massive spreadsheets.
Building entire marketing campaigns.
Mm.
AI does the heavy lifting in seconds now.
What's fascinating here is the psychological fallout of that acceleration. Just think back to that CEO in the boardroom we mentioned.
Right.
You have leaders sitting in these meetings pretending to be perfectly calm, projecting, total confidence.
Just so quietly panicking on the inside.
Exactly, panicking as they watch their AI pilots crash and burn. And they're failing because they're clinging to the old playbook of control. They're trying to manage this like it's a new email client or a database update.
But it's not a static software rollout.
No, not at all. You aren't just managing systems anymore. You are managing the psychology of change. I mean, when an employee sees a machine do in 3 seconds what took them 3 years to learn in.
Yeah, it's not just cool.
Right. It doesn't just trigger awe. It triggers an identity crisis. It triggers this absolute paralyzing fear of replacement.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
I think a lot of people listening right now have felt that exact fear. And honestly, isn't it kind of justified? I mean, if AI can do all these high-level tasks in a fraction of the time, isn't the human advantage actually just disappearing entirely? Practically speaking, what's left for us if the machine writes the code and drafts the brief?
See, that is the existential question every single leader has to answer for their team right now. But the authors make a really vital distinction here.
Which is?
It is the task-based advantage that is disappearing. The human advantage is not. When you automate away all those predictable mechanical tasks, what remains is what they call the human core.
The human core. Okay, define that for me. What does that actually look like?
It's your creativity, your empathy, your ability to build trust. It's the courage to make a tough call when you only have incomplete information.
Oh, so all the things we used to brush off is just soft skills.
Exactly. But now they are the absolute premium skills. Think about it. A machine can instantly draft a really dense legal contract, right? But it cannot sit across the table from a terrified client, read their body language, and build the actual trust required to get them to sign it.
Right. Or it can analyze a supply chain spreadsheet, but it can't, like, inspire a warehouse team to rally around a really painful pivot.
Precisely. Leaders have to shift from just managing tasks to becoming what the authors call vision builders.
And I love that the book doesn't just leave that as some nice philosophical thought. They have a very actionable mechanism for it. They call it a task-to-value reset.
Yes, that is such a powerful exercise.
Right. Basically, you sit down with your team and you map out all the recurring tasks that used to define your expertise. You highlight everything the AI can now handle.
Which can be scary at first.
Yeah, very scary. But then, and this is the crucial part, you explicitly map out where human judgment or empathy or creativity is absolutely non-negotiable.
It forces a complete reframing of the job.
Yeah.
You are essentially proving to your team, hey, your value to this company isn't your ability to crunch numbers. Your value is your humanity.
You're giving them their footing back.
Exactly.
But, recognizing that need for human value is really only great in theory. The friction happens when you try to actually implement it.
Oh, the implementation is where it usually all falls apart.
Yeah. So let's get into the first two steps of the book's framework. Let's talk about step one, what they call the trap of aimless adoption.
This is a massive driver of that 95% failure rate. So many companies are just buying enterprise AI tools simply to look forward-thinking.
Just to check a box.
Right. The CEO just wants to tell the board, hey, don't worry, we bought the AI, we're an AI company now. But they treat the tool itself as the destination.
Which never works.
Never. You need a North Star. You have to connect that specific technology to a tangible human outcome. Otherwise, it's just a very expensive distraction.
Let's ground this in reality, because they use a fantastic hospital example to illustrate this. If a hospital administration just buys an AI tool and says, our goal is to reduce administrative paperwork, what happens?
The nursing staff is just going to roll their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. They'll see it as just another corporate efficiency metric that's probably designed to cut headcount. They'll find ways to avoid using it entirely.
But look at the difference when you shift that stated purpose. If the goal is explicitly, we are using this AI chart summarization tool to give our nurses 20 more minutes of face-to-face time with each patient.
It completely changes the energy around the rollout.
Night and day.
Because now you've explained the why. The AI isn't just doing paperwork. It's reading the charts during a shift handoff and formatting the vitals instantly. So the nurse doesn't have to sit at a computer terminal in the hallway for 45 minutes.
They can actually walk into the patient's room.
Right. The technology certainly has a deeply human purpose.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, purpose acts as the ultimate filter. If a new digital tool doesn't serve that specific human outcome, you just don't buy it.
But even the most inspiring purpose will completely collapse if you skip step two.
Ah, yes. Building the right foundation?
Right. You have to fix broken workflows and clean your dirty data before you introduce the AI. Because skipping this step, it's like putting a Ferrari engine into a broken down horse carriage.
Oh, that is such a great analogy.
Right. I mean, if the underlying structure of the carriage is misaligned and the wheels are falling off, the new speed of that Ferrari engine is only going to destroy the carriage faster.
It just accelerates the disaster.
Exactly. The AI is the Ferrari engine. But your internal workflow is the old wooden carriage. Oh. If you have siloed departments, messy spreadsheets, and you just pump AI into that, it doesn't magically speed things up. It just creates massive bottlenecks.
And it starts hallucinating based on your dirty data faster than a human ever could. To prevent this, Garrett and Mitch recommend running a 10-day foundation sprint.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you there. Yeah. Because as someone who's worked in corporate environments, a 10-day sprint to fix systemic data issues sounds completely impossible.
I know, it sounds crazy.
What does that actually look like?
Well, it's not about fixing the entire company's architecture in a week and a half. It is hyper-localized. You pick one specific workflow, like client onboarding.
Yeah.
Days 1 through 3, you are literally just mapping the handoffs. Who touches what document? Where does it go?
Got it.
Days 4 through 7, you clean the formatting rules. for just that specific data pool. And then days 8 through 10, you establish what they call a go-live readiness gate.
Meaning it's a hard stop.
Yeah.
If the data for that workflow isn't completely clean, the pilot does not advance. The projects can never outrun the groundwork.
Precisely. And once you do have that clean foundation, you have to figure out what kind of work is actually going to flow through it. You can't just bolt this new tech onto your old habits.
Which transitions us perfectly into step 3, which is creating AI-native workflows. I actually loved this concept from the book.
It's brilliant.
When you build workflows with AI inside them from day one, you redesign the work entirely by separating the labor. The AI handles the mechanical, and the human handles the meaning.
Right. Sensing and generating versus deciding and showing empathy.
Yes. So say you're a legal team. The AI can instantly read thousands of pages of case law, sense the precedents, and generate an accurate summary.
Which is practically free now.
Exactly. That's the mechanical part. But the human is the one who reads that summary, decides the actual legal strategy, and calls the client to explain the risks with real empathy.
Generating is cheap. Deciding is the premium value.
But, and here's step 4, even a beautifully designed workflow is totally useless if the people running it are secretly hoping it fails.
Because they're terrified.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting. How do leaders actually empower their teams and proactively remove that fear of replacement?
Well, you have to look at the psychology. Humans need 3 things to feel empowered at work: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. If this tech feels like a top-down mandate being done to them,
They'll sabotage it.
consciously or unconsciously, yes. But if they have the autonomy to use the tool to master their own craft, they will run with it. And the authors share this brilliant tactic for this, creating a champions network.
Oh, I love this part.
Yeah.
You basically tap one champion for every 50 employees, right?
Yeah, and you give them a little bit of microfunding.
Wait, practically speaking, what does microfunding mean here? Is the company just handing a marketing manager $500 and saying, go wild on the internet?
Honestly, essentially, yes.
Wow.
You give them a small discretionary budget to buy premium API credits or a specialized subscription that their specific pod might find useful. Their job is to experiment, build a micro workflow, and then demo it to their peers.
So it decentralizes the learning. It's not IT issuing a boring mandate. It's the guy at the desk next to you showing you how he just saved 4 hours of busy work.
Exactly. And they pair that with a safe-to-try charter.
Which completely removes the stigma of failure. It's a written agreement from leadership saying, we want you to experiment. If you break a workflow, you won't be punished.
Right. You replace the blame with curiosity. If it breaks, you just sit down and debrief. Was it the prompt? Was the data dirty? That is how you build a real culture of learning.
Okay, but as you scale this, right, you have all these empowered champions spending micro funds and breaking workflows. How do you ensure things don't go completely off the rails?
That brings us to step 5. Lead with transparency. Because trust is incredibly fragile.
Yeah, you can spend 10 years building trust and lose it in one afternoon if you're sneaky about how you deploy AI.
Exactly. You have to set ethical standards and openly own your mistakes. If you try to hide AI's role from your customers, like passing off a bot as a human named Dave, or if you don't tell employees how their data is being used, you instantly create suspicion.
But if you explain it and you're transparent about the boundaries, you create safety.
People feel safe operating at high speed when they know exactly where the guardrails are.
Which naturally leads to step 6, measure what matters. Now, I have to push back a little on the standard corporate playbook here.
Oh, the metrics.
Yeah. Aren't companies right now just tracking how many AI licenses they bought? Like, look, 1,000 employees logged in this week.
Yes, and that is what the authors call the trap of vanity metrics. Activity does not equal progress.
Logging in doesn't mean the work got any better. So what should they measure?
They insist on measuring human impact. Things like customer loyalty scores, or time returned to teams and what they're doing with that time. Are they brainstorming instead of formatting slides?
It goes right back to the purpose. Did the nurses actually get 20% more time with patients? That's the metric.
Precisely. You measure learning velocity and outcomes, and those metrics have to drive immediate action, which is step 7, adapt in real time.
Because there's this myth of the finished system, right? Like
Yeah.
you just install the AI and walk away.
But AI is evolving way too fast to ever be done.
So how do you manage that?
The authors detail this concept called decision-making in motion, and they have a tool called the 72-hour pivot protocol.
Okay. As a Weimer project manager, a 72-hour pivot sounds like absolute chaos. How do you maintain stability if you're pivoting every 3 days?
Well, you aren't pivoting the entire company strategy. It's localized. If OpenAI drops a new model that makes a marketing pod's custom tool obsolete, you don't form a month-long committee.
Right.
You identify the root cause, and a single empowered owner executes a localized change within 72 hours. Leaders have to decentralize authority so teams don't have to wait for top-down approval.
Wow. It really is a living, breathing system.
It requires a completely different mindset.
Okay, let's unpack this. So, what does this all mean? We started this deep dive looking at that terrified CEO watching millions burn as pilots fail.
Yeah.
But walking through these 7 steps, it's so clear that the problem isn't the AI.
The tech works just fine.
It's how we scale it responsibly.
Mm.
Garrett and Mitch Jackson's book proves that AI doesn't replace the need for great leadership. It actually makes human leadership and empathy and vision more valuable than ever before.
Absolutely.
If you try to manage AI like a static spreadsheet, you're going to fail. But if you lead your people through the psychology of this change, you will win. So if you're a leader, a manager, or just someone navigating this shift, you have to grab a copy of Leading with AI, 7 Steps to Transform Your Business and Empower Your People by Garrett and Mitch Jackson.
It is an incredible roadmap.
It really is. It's available right now on Amazon in paperback, hard copy, Kindle, and audio formats. Go get it.
And as you map out your own workflows this week, I'll leave you with this final thought. The ground will keep moving. But as AI handles more and more of the predictable generating tasks in your day, what unique, irreplaceable human quality will you choose to amplify tomorrow?